My name's Matt. I'm currently mostly involved in large-scale software projects, like Polish government projects, like aerospace industry at all. So I would like to tell you some stories that I learned from my current customers and my work at those companies. It's a big project, it's software projects. It's mostly based on delivering stuff on time with fixed scope, fixed time, and fixed price. This is hard, and this is not the way the SCRUM was invented to. But I would like to tell you the story how we managed to find and how we managed to deliver the customer the business values to the customers in the end. Okay, let's start, and I will tell you the story in the form of the whole week. Very similar to what you've done. I have never seen your presentation before. However, we will deliver it during the whole week's time slot. Let's start with the very beginning, the understanding of the Agile Manifesto, the understanding that you have to focus on people, not on processes, on tools. The SCRUM, the KANBAN, Lean, whatever you call it, it's another process. It's another tool. You have to keep focus on people, on communication, on solving problems. This is the most important part. You can go further in the Agile Manifesto. However, you have to understand that the people are the main thing why you're here, why you're building the stuff, for whom you are building the stuff, with whom you are building the stuff, what stuff are you building. And then you can choose whether SCRUM, whether KANBAN, whatever else suits you well, but you have to focus on people, and this is the most important part. Then you can go even further, deliver the working software, to have a customer collaboration, and this is hard whenever you have fixed scope contracts, like with the Polish government, like with the aerospace industry, in aviation. Could you imagine the situation when you can deliver the system for Polish airports, Okęcie, and, say, we will deliver something. No, that's not the way it should be. You have to have proof, you have to have the documentation, you have to have the certification from your code. This is the documentation part, and you can do Agile in such environments, but you have to adjust. And this is the most important part, that the Agile, that the methodology, that the system, that the process adjust to the needs. And this is the most important part, because delivering Agile is like a direction, it's not destination. You can go further and further. It's like going straight. Are you straight enough? Are you where you intended to be? But you can move further. You can go one step more. You can be more agile. You can be more focused on the next step, on being more business-oriented, deliver more values to the customer. The first choice you have to make is to select the framework. This is the basic stuff, so you choose whether you prefer SCRUM, KANBAN, or whatever. But the most important part is that the SCRUM isn't a panaceum that automatically solves all your problems, that will terminate all of your fears and will deliver the software on time with fixed scope, with fixed price. The problem that I have in the first place when I get to the Polish government was because I'm working for the Center for IT Projects with Ministry of Interior. And the first thing that we've encountered, it was like that we have to deliver 4-year project on time within 1.5 year scope. So more than 2 years have been already passed and we have to deliver. And SCRUM isn't the thing that will solve your problem. It won't get you on time, but it can help you whenever you deliver the best stuff and you can focus on the development, on delivering the values, and the most important part. And SCRUM helps you, guides you throughout the process. The next thing is a KANBAN. KANBAN is a great tool for maintenance, for bug fixing, for everything, almost everything that cannot be fitted, cannot be planned, and cannot be ordered in a backlog. And the most important part, the most amazing part is you don't have to choose either one. You can work with both of those systems, both of those processes. You can connect SCRUM and you can connect KANBAN. You can work in both two methodologies, in both two processes in the same time. Like, I was doing the SCRUM KANBAN connection for more than 2 years. We have a team. The team was five people, and the four people was focused constantly on delivering values like it was planned. They were working in Scrum. So we had a backlog, we have a meetings, we have a backlog, we start the sprint, and we deliver the values to the customer. But the fifth person, and it was constantly changing, so every one single day, the next person has taken this role who works with the KANBAN. And we use the FIFO, who here are the IT guys, so for a programmer or something like that. Okay, great. The FIFO is an algorithm for completion task. First in, first out. So you start with the task that is the oldest one, and then move to the another one. But there's one thing. You have to remember that in the real life, there's always something that is called expedite. That means the blockers. You cannot put the IT director or something like that on hold just because you have an algorithm in which you are delivering the stuff. So you are making these decisions every day. Should I continue with following the algorithm, or maybe choose the best one? Choose the task and deliver the task in the first place to the director. And the most important part is that probably your customers, probably the people who are filing this task, won't help you with having this knowledge, because there are always the tasks that are the most important for them. So you have to make the choices on the everyday basis. Which task I should solve the next one? And the one person every day, the person who have been working in KANBAN, it was constantly changing because nobody likes the role. It was bug fixing, maintenance, and especially delivering like a back office. So for example, like in your presentation, it was solving the problems for the another one. But the rest of the team, the 4 person, was delivering the stuff on time, on production, within the KANBAN regime. And the most important part is do not throw yourself at the deep end. So it is very easy to read the Scrum guide and say, I want that. I want to start the revolution that will bring me to this point. But remember, the Scrum guide is 13 pages long, and it describes the whole idealistic world. You can go there. But the road is written in the book, which is very large in size. And each step is taking like a lifetime for you, because you have to change people. You have to maintain the project and change people down there, deep inside. Let's move further. So let's start with the planning. There are several techniques to deliver the business value. And the most important part, I don't want to make a focus for that because the talk is too short, but I will leave you as a reference material. The talk is already on my webpage. You can download it from whether my webpage or SlideShare, but there are some techniques that will help you to deliver the business values to your customers. And whether it's government, whether it's customer like a normal company, or whether it's a big, huge project that you have to get on time. So the first business value is time to market. There are some software engineering techniques, because remember, in the end, you are trying to get the people done with the job, and those people are software developers. So you have to work with these extreme programming techniques, like Kuba Nabrdalik said on the previous talk. So a few talks earlier, you have to go with the test-driven development. You have to go with the refactoring, continuous integration, because there are great tools to speed up your development on the first side, on the first hand, and on the other hand, to higher your quality, to to emphasize on the stuff that really matters for you. The next thing is to deliver the value to the market. Next, quality to the market. This is the most important part for the Scrum team, because you cannot make sacrifices of the quality instead of delivering higher and faster, delivering the faster releases, faster features, and so on. You have to maintain high quality of your code. You have to maintain. This is true just because in a time, for example, in half year, 1 year, or maybe if you have skilled developers, like a senior ones, after 2 years, your code base will be completely degraded. Your code base will be garbage, and then you will have a problem to delivering more stuff. So taking care about the quality and the first, even very easy part, on the very first steps of your projects is the very important thing, because you will get this in the end. This thing that you sacrifice on the very beginning. Flexibility. Your tool, your code base have to be flexible. You can achieve that by doing like a lot of refactorings. But the most important part, there's something like simple design. Kuba already said about simple design. Simple is good. Simple is easy to understand and to collaborate, and simple is especially easy to get things done. And this is the most important part about Scrum, Kanban, and whatever else methodology you're using. Higher the visibility of your projects, cut the cost, extend the product lifetime. This is the best. This is the important part, because I'm working with the systems that will be maintained by at least 30 years from now. Have you seen the IT, what happened in IT for the past 30 years? That was complete change, revolution of either thinking. The system that we have currently, and unfortunately we are living, is written in the assembler, and it has non-relational database just because there were no SQL back in those times. We have to rewrite the system in such manner that it will be easy to maintain and to fix and to add new features over the time for the next decade, at least, maybe 2 decades. And then we'll get to the daily. The daily is the most important part, because always when I start with the team, there is a problem with communication. And daily sometimes came to the point that this is like a daily status. So for example, what have you done the last day? What will you be doing? And so on. Especially in the teams that were grown up from the project management waterfall style. Especially those teams are like treating these dailies like a daily confessions, and they have to say something what they've done. The most important part is when you bring the sprint goal, so the main focus for a team, and then ask the people what they've benefit and what they added to the software, what they added to the process in order to achieve the sprint goal. This is the most important part, because you are now speaking in such feed forward, not feedback. Nobody cares about what have you done in the previous day. They really do matter is what will you be doing for the next 24 hours. And then the magic thing happens. When you say, I will be doing this job, this task, and so on, and then somebody else, I've done very similar things yesterday or 2 weeks ago. I can sit with you together and we'll finish it faster. This is the magic thing, because 2 people are working on the same base, on the same time, and they're fixing the same issue. You have to maintain, you have to create the trust culture. It's not like the guy with the stick and so on. You have to drive them, but creating culture, it's very hard to do. Creating culture requires you to be very, maybe not experienced, but at least an adult of delivering the process. Because it's hard to, it has to manipulate the people, in not by telling them, hey, you should do this, that way. You have to change their behavior. And this behavior, this change to their behavior have to be persistent, and they have to be fixed for the whole time. It would require to change some change the organization. It would require you to change your project structure, to change how the people communicate. And in the government agencies, there's always such silos like business, QA, development, security, infrastructure, and so on. So then you bring the most common things. You just put the business guys with the QA team and development. And then you will move further to join the security teams. Maybe in one project 0, you add the infrastructure guys in order to have this full stack. It's called full stack. So you have, right now, you have a project C with the people that are responsible from bottom top to the center, to the top. And they are responsible for delivering the stuff. And this is the most important, because there will be no impediments, there will be no such thing that cannot be solved by the people who are currently involved in the software development. And then you revolutionize the other projects. But you have to start with something small, like creating a backlog, like changing all the requirements documents. Because when I started to work for the Polish government, I get the book. Book was like 550 pages long, and it has use cases. It has almost every UML diagram I've learned throughout my life and so on. But the problem was, we want to do that with our developers, and they don't want to read this book. So you take those guys, you have to find the people who will translate this analytic document and convert it to the backlog. And if you have a support from your tools, you can either create this document out of your backlog, so you can automate the things. You can, for example, for every issue you have, and description and so on, and if you have very clear and good backlog, you can auto-generate such a document. So whenever you have a support from your development ecosystem, you can provide the hard stuff that the documentation for your project that nobody does, nobody likes to do it, but you can achieve that. And then simple stuff. This is not the part of the SCRUM, but write the acceptance criteria for your task. The small to-do list. For example, this is the most powerful thing I've encountered. Just write in the simple sentences, with a plain English or Polish, how this feature have to be delivered. And these small sentences should be in the form of Boolean. For example, when developer sees the task, he can write those lists, create a feature, create a code, and then checks whether he created and done everything perfectly that was hoped for to do. Okay, then the check. But the most important part for the SCRUM, the Agile methodology, is that you have to finally work with the code. You have to finally work with the people who create code. And you have to a little bit adjust how they create the whole process from bottom up. Okay, let's focus on quality. This is the most important part, because the quality for your project will be your project will be maintained in the future. And if you take care about the quality, you will deliver a good project, and the maintenance cost will be lower. And the most cost for the software development is in the maintenance period, not in the creation, not in the software development. Then, with the help of great tools, and you can use your knowledge-based tool, you can project management tools, and so on. If you have this ecosystem for the tools that are connected and helps you with delivering the stuff, you can really benefit from the things. There's a Conway law. that, in simple words, your architecture of your software will be reflection how people communicate in your team, in your organization. Whenever you have open spaces, like it was used to 10 years ago, like Google, Allegro, and so on, they had open spaces, and they tend to create monolithic applications. Right now, when you have small teams, like 5 members top, and they are sitting in separate rooms, there tends to create such things like services or microservices, and those services are connected with the API. And as further they have to communicate with each other, they will create some contracts between them, how this API should behave, how those systems have to talk with each other. And that's a great thing, because you decouple your architecture, and you can then move further in releasing frequently and delivering the most stuff in a small part. Then you can take this test-driven development, continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment even. You guys, we're currently in the phase of continuous delivery for the project. So every commit should be production ready. So you should be able to hit the button in Jenkins, in Bamboo, or whatever tool you are using, hit the button and release on the production server. This is very scary at the first time. But I've seen a presentation from a guy from GitHub. They have hundreds of releases per day. They fix the small typo, release on the production. And whenever you integrate your code on a very frequent basis, you will get these integration problems sooner, and you will manage to find the solution even better with that. Then you have a code review and pair programming. Kuba said wonderful things about pair programming and code reviews. That's a great thing. I want you guys to understand that pair programming is not only about 2 people sitting in front of one computer. It's about the communication, about how you create the features. And there's no such thing like 100% pair programming, because it's exhausting. It's tiring for the people, because you have to create, you have to pair program whenever it's reasonable, and then bring the code reviews for the other stuff that are not involved with the pair programming. Let's build the definition of done, the system, from the small acceptance criteria. You graduate the things into the definition of done. Very slowly graduate the things, like you have to create unit test. The tests have to be succeeding, and then you will bring some more stuff over the time, not in one package. And then you frequent release in order to get these integration problems appears in more frequent basis. And then the last part of this SCRUM, the most important part for me, is the retrospective, when people are talking and self-learning. Because learning organization is in the basis of the whole SCRUM, KANBAN, and AGILE methodology. And this slide previously was titled Shuhari. Shuhari, there is no such Agile conferences without mentioning the Shuhari rule. So you have to learn the rules, you have to master the rules, and then you can change the rules. But people frequently, I can see that people frequently say, oh, I've already mastered the rules. So for example, we are doing the Agile and we are doing the SCRUM process and so on. It's great, but we don't do daily. The daily is not working for us. Maybe it's not the daily that is not working for us. Maybe you have some other issues. Maybe you are not communicating properly. Maybe you are not showing the best thing about dailies, that you have to keep feed forward. You have to feed forward your team in order to achieve the stuff. But the most important part is that you have to focus on processes, not on people. Whenever you say, I blame him, he's the reason why we haven't delivered the sprint. This is not the way it should take. This team is responsible for not delivering the sprint. You are responsible that the guy should tell this that he have a problem on a daily, and your fault was not going to this guy and helping him out in order to deliver the sprint. There's no such thing like individuals. You have to play as a team. There's a great video from Spotify. I encourage you to see on a YouTube or on a Vimeo. It's a great short movie. It's 13 minutes, and it describes the whole process, how Spotify perfects its agile culture, connecting delivering the stuff with the people and technology. You have to remember that those changes have to be evolutionary, not revolutionary. Slow changes are more persistent over the time. And let's recap. The SCRUM, Lean, KANBAN, or whatever else is just a communication framework. Those meetings are like the places in your week, the places in your calendar would have agendas. They are planned for the next few iterations, and there are fixed scope from what have you to talk about on this meeting. Then you have to change a little bit your organization, delete those silos, remove those silos, and to create the project organization in order to deliver then quality evolution, not revolution, and that's it. Thank you very much.